Welcome to the Handicappers Report on Thursday, January 18th. Mike Callahan here alongside me, Sully Crotty. How you doing, Sully?
Good, Mike. How are you?
I'll be taking a look at Aqueduct today. Also, Sully will be taking a look at Gulfstream Park. And since we brought up Gulfstream Park, I do want to thank them for their sponsorship of Handicappers Report and a lot of other promotions and content that we provide here. Gulfstream Park champions start here. Again, we're going to talk about Aqueduct and Gulfstream in a second, but do want to touch upon some promotions here at Capital OTB, starting with today. A $100 win-a-bet contest at Woodlawn Branch. If you live around the Schenectady region, stop by Woodlawn today. We'll have a $100 win-a-bet, which will be 6 races at Aqueduct. The winner will receive a $75 bet. Runner-up will receive a $25 bet. And again, that's at Woodlawn Branch in Schenectady. Also tomorrow, the bounty bet's back. $1,156 is what's attached to the bounty right now. It'll be on the late pick 4 at Aqueduct. And again, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is play the pick 4 on your Capital OTB account, and you're automatically eligible. If you do hit that pick 4, you'll win what the pick 4 pays at the track, but you'll also be eligible for the Capital OTB pool, which right now is $1,156. Last time we had it, 2 people hit it. They were able to get over $100 extra on top of the pick 4 that they hit. And really, it's a great promotion that we run here. It's going to build if 2 or more people hit it, but if one lone person does hit it, then they get the whole entire pool. So definitely note that for tomorrow. It's at Aqueduct. Play the late pick 4. Also on Saturday, we're going to have fan appreciation at Menands. The event will run from 12 to 5. The first 50 patrons will receive a $2 bet voucher, giveaway item, and racing programs. Also, we'll run a $100 contest and match bet, food and beverage, and stop by on Saturday at the Menands branch. But we'll get back to the horse racing, and we'll take a look right now at the Gulfstream First, which is a $16,000 claimer, going 5 furlongs on the turf. And what do you think of the opener?
7-3, 4-1 here. Number 7 just seems like a logical choice here. It's Gracie Spirit, 2-1 on the morning line for Vargas Vitali. A horse with a ton of closing speed that we saw last time out. And the earlier starts, we really didn't see that closing speed. The horse was 10 lengths off last time out, and the horse usually sits 5 or 6 lengths off. 2 back was 6 lengths off, and a claiming 20 really didn't do any running there. But I really think the trainer switch last time out helped the horse out, going 5 furlongs on the grass for Gracie Spirit. I think a horse that should not be 10 lengths off that we saw last time out, but a horse that could comfortably sit 5, 6, or even 7 lengths off and make a late run in the sprint race. Number 3 is the second choice for me. That's Southern and Sassy. A horse that's 8-1 right now for Antonio Sano, a horse that has consistently run 4th throughout the career. I just think a horse that, compared to this field, can run 3rd or even 2nd here at a good price. Very balanced on paper, has a lot of experience at the track as well as has run in the money 13 times at the distance in 20 starts. I think a horse that's going to try to sit a little bit closer to the pace, much like Gracie Spirit, not trying to sit 6 lengths off that we saw last time out, but maybe sit comfortably 4 lengths off where we saw that 4 back and the horse came in 3rd by 3.5 lengths. Number 4, second choice on the morning line, 5-2 on the morning line. Tyler Gaffalione and Ralph Nix, they're coming in after a drop. The horse has run in a stakes race before at the track, came in 3rd in that stakes race. That was last December. Did run on the slop 3 back. Okay performance there at Gulfstream Park. But I thought last time out on the dirt, going 7 furlongs, the horse did look really impressive. So I'm very interested to see how the horse takes going from dirt to turf. The horse does have a couple dirt starts, turf starts, but has had more success on the dirt. I think with Tyler Gaffalione and the speed, it's going to try to wire the field here. In the opener at Gulfstream, 7-3, 4-1.
The Gulfstream second is a $25,000 claimer, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. And how'd you see it?
4-2, 7-1 here for me. Number 4 is Flashing Diamond, 7-2 on the morning line again, Antonio Sano. Horse won by 6 lengths last time, has 2 wins at the track in 3 starts. Raced 3 times at GP West, came in 2nd, won a race at the wire at 8-1, came in 2nd at 20-1. But fits in nicely in this claiming 25 field. As I said, did win by 6 last time out in claiming 16. Racing and claiming 20 at GP West, won that race. And won a maiden 12 back in September here. I think a horse that fits in very nicely here at this claiming 25 level and hopefully stays at the 7-2 price. Number 2, Optimist Shot. 6-1 on the morning line for Victor Barboza. Victor's had a very nice meet, winning at a 22% clip. 36 starts, 8 wins, 5 places, and 8 shows. He's been close in some of those places. Lost by a neck, lost by a head, half a length, things in that nature. And he's had a great 2017. He won at a 22% clip. Luis Saez is up. He's winning at a 22% clip, with 54 wins at the Champions Meet. Had a very good week racing last week. I think Friday of last week he had 4 or 5 wins. But he's always been pretty competitive down in Florida. I think with the horse does have some speed, has been working very nicely, had a nice work back in November, and even early December had a nice work. So I think Victor Barboza is a very trustworthy trainer here and had a good price. And then number 7 in the third spot, Marcelina, 3-1 on the morning line. Rod Ortiz is up for this horse, a horse that's on a drop. Trainer winning at 18 starts, winning at a 6% clip, going from route to sprint here. But ran on the slop in a mile last time out, did no running at all. That was in a stakes race. 2 back was in a state-bred stakes race, going 6.5 furlongs at GP West. Came in 4th that day, at a pretty big price. 3 back won by 14 lengths in a maiden 12.5. I think fits in nicely with this maiden with the claiming 25 after the experience in the stakes races and what we saw the horse do in the maiden 12 level. Second race, 4-2, 7-1.
The Gulfstream third is the 12.5 claimer, going a mile on the dirt. And can they beat the number 3, Solve?
I have number 3 in the second spot. Yeah, I went 7-3, 6-2 here. I just think number 7 at 5-1, Royal Mile for Peter Walder, who has had a nice meet. He's running the money at 17 times and 39 starts, winning at a 13% clip. I just think with Luis Saez and last time out and then claiming 25, I didn't think it was on paper it does not look like a good effort, but that was a pretty good field there. He's got talent, won that race. He was a pretty big favorite there. And 2 back race Tale of Fancy. So I just think a horse that has run against some good competition at this level. I think getting Louis on and Peter Walder, the connections are there. And the horse does have some speed from the outside stall. The horse did have the outside stall in the first start at Parks, won that race by 3, and then had the outside stall in May of last year and came in second. That was a pretty good field as well. So I think the horse wants to be on the outside. The buyers dipped down a little bit from early last year, and then in the summer they weren't great, and then they have started to rise again. I think Peter Walder is going to have the horse ready. Number 3 is your favorite, Solve. Just a really balanced horse on paper, going to be tough to beat. Has not won at Gulfstream though, but had a very nice 2017. Churchill Downs had a win there. And then came the Gulfstream Park, ran in a nice stakes race, came in 3rd with Paco Lopez up. I just think the horse has run against much better. It's going to be very tough to beat this horse with the speed, and we've seen some closing ability out of this horse as well. Had a nice bullet work November 27th. That was 1 out of 22. And they had a nice work 2 out of 25 December 16th. So just a ton of speed here. Going to be very tough to catch this horse coming out of the chute at a mile. The horse is also running the money every time at the mile distance. Number 6 in the 3rd spot. Taking a chance here, a 15-1 Peak Performance. Terry Pompey, still looking for her first win. She had a nice meet last Champions meet. Had 21 wins in 2017, winning at a 14% clip. I just think a sneaky trainer here, especially at the Champions meet, can get a price home. This horse is 15-1. The horse does have some speed. It's going to go run with Solve, the morning line favorite, and possibly Royal Mile, the other speed from the outside stall. It's going to be interesting to see who gets to the lead out of Peak Performance and Royal Mile. I just think Terry Pompey cannot be ignored. She's been close with a couple wins as well. Just really hasn't got to the wire first, though, but she has been close. In the 3rd, 7-3, 6-2.
The Gulfstream 4th is a $53,000 allowance optional claimer, 6 furlongs on the dirt, and some pretty nice names in here. And the number 1 Malagasy and number 3 Recruiting Ready.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat those horses. I have Malagasy on top. A horse that's on a huge drop. We haven't seen this horse since the Arkansas Derby. Race against Classic Empire, Conquest Small Money, looking at Lee. All horses that had a very successful 3-year-old campaign. Comes back a 4-year-old in good form with a nice bullet work on January 4th. A nice bullet work December 22nd. Horse has a ton of speed from the inside post. Just coming back to the Gulfstream races, the horse ran last February, winning very impressively, and then winning the Rebel, and going to the Arkansas Derby. I didn't think it was a terrible effort there. It came in 5th by 2.5 there against a very, very competitive field. But I think the layoff is going to do nothing but help this horse, and Javier and Todd Pletcher are always a ginormous team. Number 3, Recruiting Ready. Will not surprise me if this horse wins, but has a tough task. I just think Malagasy is running against much better. Recruiting Ready is running for Sagamore Farm with Jose Ortiz up. Horse does have a ton of speed as well. Last time we saw this horse at Belmont Park in a Grade 2 with a 90 buyer. That is the worst buyer the horse has had since the new year of 2017. So I just think the horse is going to, in a 90 buyer, it really does stand out compared to the rest of the field. But the horse was running 97s, 95s, winning races by 6.5 in stakes races. I also think the June layoff is going to help this horse and Todd Pletcher out. The horse has 3 wins at the distance. The distance might be a question mark for the number 1 here after running 1 1/8. Ran 6.5 and won by 7. But I think just the distance for Recruiting Ready and the speed the horse has is definitely a dangerous play here. And then number 6, I just try to get a price underneath. Not too big of a price, but just get something out of some trifecta. Sonic Mule, we saw on the Naira circuit be pretty successful. Has won 2 races here at Gulfstream Park. Race against XY Jet last time. That was a very impressive outing by XY Jet. But it's going to be tough to beat the 1 and the 3 here. Racing against much better on a huge drop. Race number 4, 1, 3, and 6.
The Gulfstream 5th, the start to the 20-cent Rainbow 6, which is your specialty. So hopefully you got the winners in here. It's a $35,000 maiden claimer going 5 furlongs on the turf. And what do you think?
2, 1, 5, and 9 here. Da Dude is number 2. A horse that last time out, I really liked that 4-1. Did not have a great race. 2 back, I thought raced very well. Jose Lascano was up on this horse on the grass. Jose's a great turf rider. Horse ran in the maiden special weight last time out. Now going to the maiden 35 with a ton of speed and a great turf rider. It's going to be tough to beat. Number 1, We Take Checks. 6-1 on the morning line to Jorge Navarro. Nice little first-time starter here. Jorge's numbers for first-time starters, winning at a 33% clip. First times on the turf, he's won half of those races he's entered. In the maiden debuts, he's won half of those races he's entered. Just a jockey who's been riding very well. We saw him have that nasty spill a couple weeks ago. But I think Jorge Navarro, nice little first-time starter with some good works here. I think a horse that's going to make a late run in this race. Number 5, 12-1 on the morning line. Another first-time starter. Joel Rosario was up. Trainer stats, first-time stars winning at a 16% clip. And the debut, maiden claiming, winning at a 23% clip. I think Joel Rosario, again, I don't really know where the horse is going to be placed. We've seen the horse have nice bullet workouts in early November and then kind of tail off from those bullet works. But from the works, I think it's going to try to wire the field. Might be a little tough with that dude, but it's definitely going to make it interesting at a price. In race number 5, 2, 1, 5, and 9.
All right, that's going to bring us to our first break on the Thursday edition of Handicappers Report. When we come back, we'll go over the late pick 5 with Sully Crotty at Gulfstream. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on Thursday, January 18th. Mike Callahan here, alongside me, Sully Crotty. We are through the first 5 at Gulfstream. We're going to take a look at the Gulfstream 6th right now with Sully Crotty. It's a $10,000 optional claimer going a mile and a 16th on the dirt. And what do you think?
6'8", 2-1 here. Number 6, 4-1 on the morning line. Montclair, Nick Juarez is up. Jason Service trains the horse. Jason's had a nice meet. He's only had 18 starts. He's running the money 6 times with 3 wins. I just think what the horse has raced against, the experience is going to help the horse at a nice price. The horse does have some closing speed. I think the horse needs a little bit quicker of a pace than a 49.5 we saw. And even the effort there was nice. The horse was sitting 4 lengths off and tried to close into that 49.5 mile fraction there and lost by a length, came in 4th in that was a pretty competitive optional claiming field. The horse has run against Hello Don Julio, Sadler's Joy, Roman Approval, Blue Pigeon was 2 back, came in 5th that day, raced against Hello Don Julio and the Johns Call at Saratoga, and Hello Don Julio at Saratoga really looked impressive there. Roman Approval, that was an optional claiming race. And then Sadler's Joy, that was in a grade 2 at Gulfstream. So I think Nick Juarez, the experience the horse has with Nick Juarez in these big-time races, the horse may have not been competitive in some of those races, but I think with Nick Juarez back on at a price and some closing speed on the main track, it's going to help the horse out. Number 8 in the second spot here, 7-2 on the morning line. Louis Saez is up for this horse, and Louis won last time out. That was in an optional claiming 10, 2 back at GP West against some state breds. That was in November, won that race. The horse did beat Aces for John, 4th of July, Wild Winter, some pretty good names that you would see down in some state bred allowances and optional claimings. Louis, as I said earlier, has had a phenomenal meet. Horse does have some speed as well, and the horse does love the Gulfstream surface, 10 times in the money in 13 starts. Third spot, number 2, Mal Guapo, a horse that I think you just need to throw in your exotics. We saw running a couple stakes races. He's running against Familiar Company as well, and has 7 times in the money in 13 starts. 7 times in the money in 12 starts at Gulfstream, had a very nice 2017 with 10 times in the money with 4 wins, and some of those seconds were pretty close by a length, a quarter of a length, and by a neck. In race number 6, 6'8", 2-1.
The Gulfstream 7th is a $50,000 maiden claimer going a mile on the turf. And can they beat the number 7 Congruity?
I think I'm taking a shot here. This is where you can make some money in the rainbow. I went 8, 7, 11, and 5 here. Number 8, a nice little first-time starter for Ralph Nix. He's winning at a 19% clip in this debut maidens. First-time starts winning at a 23% clip. I think a horse that might be a little bit overlooked because of how impressive the number 7 looks. Danny Gargan and Tyler Gaffalione throw the blinkers on this horse. 8-5 on the morning line. First-time blinkers for Danny Gargan, winning at a 20% clip. Last time out, lost by a neck. That was in a maiden 50. That was at Aqueduct. And then ran at Saratoga and Belmont. Came in 3rd at Saratoga in the maiden debut. Went to the mile distance on the grass. I think that was a good switch, coming in 2nd and in 4th. It's going to be tough to beat this horse with the speed it has on the grass. Danny Gargan, Tyler Gaffalione, very good coupling there. Number 11 is Hey Howie, 9-2 on the morning line for Nicholas Gonzalez. A horse that has been very competitive. 3/4, 3/3, 2/3, and a second has been very close in these races. A horse that's very balanced on paper. We've seen the horse try to wire the field at Woodbine, came in 3rd. We saw the horse try to make a closing effort, came in 3rd. Last time out had a very nice closing effort, 9.5 lengths off the leaders, came in 2nd by half a length. That was a pretty good field as well at Gulfstream Park in a maiden 50 race. The fractions were a little quick. I would like to see those fractions be quick again, and I think they will be. I think they will be with the speed in this race. Gulfstream 7th, 8, 7, 11, and 5.
In the Gulfstream 8th, it's a $50,000 maiden special weight going a mile on the dirt. And what do you think between the 5 and the 7? Do you think they're beatable?
Yeah, I have those two on top here. I just think they're too good in this field. I have 7, 5, 4, and 2 here. Number 7, Driven to Compete. A horse that looked really impressive at Saratoga. Johnny V was on that horse that day for Todd. He gets the mount again. The horse goes to Parks, tries to win a race. And, you know, sometimes the Nyris shippers, they go to Finger Lakes, they go to Parks, and they just don't win. And Parks is a pretty competitive track in the spring. There's just some good horses there. And the horse is the first time gelding. I think it will help. But the bullet workouts just really stand out here. The horse has 6 bullets. December 15th, 1 out of 14. December 22nd, 1 out of 6. And then last time out, January 12th, it was 1 out of 10. So those really stand out on paper for this mile coming out of the chute. Number 5, a horse that it just can't get it done, and he's been close. The horse really has been close. Most highlighting the neck finish with Edgar Prado up. That was at Gulfstream Park. I thought the Keeneland race 3-back was really, really impressive. That was on the grass. The horse switches to the dirt last time out and came in 3rd. I think the horse looks better on the grass than we saw last time out at Belmont Park. But I think Brian Lynch, the horse did look okay on the dirt. Why not give him another shot here at Gulfstream against a field that he can win against with Jose Ortiz up? That is Brooklyn Bobby, the number 5. And number 4, 15-1 on the morning line, is Mr. Attella, a horse that is going out for Francisco D'Angelo, and a horse that ran in a grade 3, did no running at all, and a horse with some closing speed. We saw that 2-back, was a little wide, really couldn't make up any ground, but did have a nice effort, made up 7 lengths in that race, and I think with the fast pace we're going to get coming out of the chute, is a pretty good play underneath at 15-1. Gulfstream 8th race, 7, 5, 4, and 2.
The Gulfstream 9th, the start to the late double, is a $35,000 optional claimer going 7.5 on the turf. And what do you think here?
9, 7, 8, and 1 here. Number 9, it's Forever Taken, 5-1 on the morning line. Jose Ortiz and Antonio Sano, just horse that ran in 2 stakes back-to-back. A 2-back came in 4th that day. Last time out, ran against Mask, a very good horse, as we know. Ran against Dak Attack. Is going on a little quick turnaround here. And going from dirt to turf, Antonio is winning at a 12% clip with an ROI over 5, which is very nice to see. I think getting Jose Ortiz back up for the first time is really going to help this horse out. Horse does have some speed. We saw the horse make up some ground in a stakes race 2-back, and earlier in the career made up some ground in a maiden 35. Number 7 in the 2nd spot, Non-Such. Arad Ortiz is up. Going to try and hit an exact with the Ortiz brothers here. Horse that is 1 for 1 at the track, 6 times in the money, in 8 starts in 2017. And a horse that won by 2 lengths last time with Louis Saez up. I think it might be a little bit overmatched here with the 9 and the 8 who I have in the 3rd spot. But just a horse I'm going to take a shot with at a price. And number 8 is the morning line favorite at 2-1. Javier Castellano is up. A big-time closer for this horse was 11 lengths off and then 6 lengths off. And we came in 4th that day with very, very slow fractions at the mile distance. GP West had another very slow fractions, but was up to the lead. The one thing that scares me is if the horse goes to the lead, he can have the slowest fractions that any of the horses seen and just can't hang on. Ran a 52 half fraction. That was in a maiden 20. Was just very much the best that day. But 3-back to 52 half. No one really pressuring him until late in that race and only winning by a nose. That's a little concerning, especially on the grass surface. So that's why I have the horse underneath, but definitely can win. I think the 2-turn 7.5 is definitely better for the horse than going the mile, and the horse does have 2 wins at the 7.5 going 2 turns. Race number 9, 9, 7, 8, and 1.
The Gulfstream 10th, the finale, is a $16,000 claimer going 7.5 on the turf again. And what do you think here?
9, 10, 8, and 2. Number 9, 6-1 on the morning line. Proud Legacy, a horse that he's been close in a couple of his races here. He came in 2nd at GP West, going 7.5. And then 2-back came in 4th. That was a pretty good effort, I thought. Tried to steal the race at a big price and finished out the superfecta there. I think 6-1 is the right price here for this horse with some speed. I think it's going to try to steal the race again from the outside post, but it's going to be tough to beat Nile Princess. Number 10, the 2-1 in the second spot. Coming off the trainer change here, first time for the new connections here. Horse that ran in the Naira circuit, and some claiming 40s, some claiming 25s, and really showed some nice closing effort. And the horse will try to go to the lead. We have seen that, but I think the horse is a much better closer. I thought a couple of these Naira circuit races were pretty competitive races. Ran against Wish Upon, War Canoe, Lion in Weight, Out of Trouble. So I just think some of those names that you can remember from the Naira circuit and the experience the horse has racing against those good horses is definitely going to stick out, especially from the outside stall. The horse did have the outside stall at Belmont Park. Showed a nice closing effort that day in just pretty quick fractions. And then in the third spot, I went with number 8, 20-1 on the morning line. That is Perfect State. Horse that going out for an O for trainer, going out for an O for jockey. Just a horse that I'm just trying to get a price in. A horse that has run in the money 7 times in 14 starts at Gulfstream Park, and 10 times in the money in the lifetime starts, and only 1 win. Just a horse that can complete some supers and triples at big prices, and we've seen the horse do it. In the finale at Gulfstream Park, 9, 10, 8, and 2.
All right, that was Sully Crotty going over today's card at Gulfstream. When we come back, we'll flip-flop, and I'll take a look at Aqueduct, so stay tuned.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices, to know how to connect the dots? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool, but not the only tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. These too are important tools, and you'll find them all right here at Capital OTB. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on this Thursday afternoon, January 18th. Sully Crotty, Mike Callahan. I just went over the Gulfstream Park card. Mike is going to transition over to the Aqueduct card. The first race at Aqueduct, it's a 1 1/8. It's a main special weight for $60,000.
6-5-1 for me. I did land on the morning line favorite, number 6, Holland Park. 4-5 on the morning line, going out for Kieran McLaughlin. Blinkers go on today for this start. The debut was pretty solid. Lost that race, was second by 3, but was 6 3/4 ahead of the third place horse. So that was a pretty solid performance. Stretching out today from the 6.5 to the 1 1/8. Which I guess you could say would be the big question mark on the stretch out, but is out of Tappet. And the stat on Kieran McLaughlin, this is a pretty good stat. With second time out horses, he's 21%. So that's a very good stat. All signs kind of point to the 6. I would not be surprised to see this horse go to lead and take him wire to wire. Underneath, number 5, Lonely Weekend. Going out for Graham Motion, Paco Lopez aboard, 3-1 on the morning line. Blinkers go on for this horse too. The last 2 have been pretty solid. Most notably, the last one was at the 1 1/8 distance. So this horse, unlike the 6, has gone the distance. Was a second place performance. Actually beat the number 1 in here, Roaming Union. So I think a repeat of that effort definitely puts this horse right in the mix. And then underneath, number 1, Roaming Union. Last 2 have been at this distance of a 1 1/8. Both of those third place performances. But even if you go back to some of the races back earlier on in 2017, faced some good horses in Colton, Mississippi, who was 3rd in the Jerome, Bell Harbor, Avery Island. This horse kind of is a model of consistency. Not sure if it's a win type. Definitely has to move forward to beat the 5 and the 6, but definitely one to use underneath. So I had it 6-5-1.
Moving on to race number 2. 6.5 furlong claiming race for state breds for $47,000.
5-2-6 in here. Did land on number 5, Bluegrass Prevails, going out for Rudy Rodriguez, Eric Consell aboard. The last 2 have been pretty solid performances. 2 back, 1 a 12-5 claimer, stepped up against state breds in a $25,000 claimer last time out, finished second, beaten 2.5. I think this horse is going to sit a nice trip off the speed, which seems to be the 2 and the 6, and just based off of the races that we saw at Aqueduct in the last couple days that they've run, speed has been holding quite well. So you have to kind of be close to the lead, it seems. I think the 5 will be tracking the 2 and the 6 in here, and I think the trip will win out. Is 4 for 4 in the money at Aqueduct, so definitely a horse for the course here. Underneath, number 2, Brimstone, one that's going to show some speed, is on the drop. Last time out, did run in an optional claim, or 2 other than optional claimer. Faded that day to finish 3rd, beaten 4, but does have some really good races back in the summer of 2017, where if this horse can wake up, and Paco's known for riding horses on the lead, so Paco with speed is always very dangerous. On the drop, the 2 is definitely one in here to use. And then number 6, Global Positioning, going out for Abby Atsit, Joe Rocco Jr. aboard. Last time we saw this horse was on November 30th, was an even 4th that day, but if you go back to the level that this horse is running today, 2 back, finished that race, won that race, and then won the 3 back race as well, got 86 and 82 buyers in the 2 and 3 back races. I think can wake up. It's going to have to work out a trip because there's also speed from the 2 that we just talked about. So the 2 and the 6 kind of have the same running styles. If this horse is able to run just off the lead, I think has a chance, but there's the possibility of the 2 and the 6 hooking up, which I think would set up for the 5, who's my top choice. And here I have it 5, 2, 6.
Moving on to the 3rd race, it is a 1 1/8. It is the Bay Ridge State Bred Stakes for $100,000 and seems to be a pretty competitive race.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice 5-horse field. I did give the slight edge to number 4. I went 4, 2, 3 in here. Number 4 is Riot Worthy. Going out for Charlie Baker, Manny Franco aboard. Good stats all around on Charlie Baker. 20% so far at the Aqueduct meet, 22% in 2017. A horse that's going to be stretching out. Now, last time we saw this horse went 7 furlongs. Is stretching out to the 1 1/8. But I think it's a good setup in here. The 2 has some speed. The 3 and also the 1 seem to have a lot of speed in here. So I think the 4 could just be tracking right off this 5-horse field and mow them down late. I think the 2 back race was ultra solid. Got an 87 buyer that day. Finished 2nd to a nice horse in Your Love. So the stretch out shouldn't be a concern. If you go back to the 1 race that this horse ran at a 1 1/8, was back in 2016 at Saratoga, was a good 2nd place performance. Got a 79 buyer that day. I think this horse shouldn't mind the stretch out and should get a favorable pace setup. So I did win the number 4 on top. Underneath, number 2, Frostwise. An unbelievable performance last time out at the mile distance here at Aqueduct. Won that race by 16 1/4. Just comparing the races overall to that one performance, that was so much better than this horse's run. To me, the bounce theory may be in effect here. Don't go for too short of a price. Obviously, is a major player in here. But the fact that 88 buyer sits so much higher than any other performance of this horse, it kind of leaves me a little weary to give the edge to. But nonetheless, is a huge player in here. And then underneath, number 3, Frosty Annie. One that I think is going to go with the number 2. The 2 has a ton of speed, like I said. The 3 and the 1. I think on the stretch out for the 3, going from 6.5 to the 1 1/8. But I has won the last 2. Rudy Rodriguez absolutely knows what he's doing. 3 wins and 5 starts at Aqueduct. Definitely another one to use in here. And like you said, it's a very competitive field. Gave the slight edge to the 4 underneath the 2 and the 3.
Race number 4 is a mile maiden special weight for $55,000.
I had it 5, 8, 6 in here. Did give the edge to number 5, My Victoria Rose, going out for Jeremiah Englehart. And the career debut was pretty solid. Went 6.5 that day. Finished 3rd, beaten 7 1/4. But note was 6 wide in upper stretch, so did have a long way around. Will stretch out from the 6.5 to the mile today. And the dam won twice routing, so has some pedigree to the approach of stretching out. Looks pretty good for this horse, and is my top choice in here. Underneath, number 8, split time, the 1-1 morning line favorite, going out for Linda Rice, who excels with second time out starters. To me, you're going to get such a short price. I had mixed feelings on this horse. Did face a horse last time out in the career debut, which finished second behind in Crying the Moonlight. Crying the Moonlight won that race, came back to finish 3rd in the stakes last weekend, so that should only flatter split time. But Split time siblings are 0 for 18. So you're kind of getting a little bit of mixed signals here. The stretch out shouldn't be a problem, but again, on such a short price, just tried to lean towards someone else and did ultimately lead with a 5. And then underneath number 6, Lady Vicky going off for Charlie Baker again. Good pedigree and should improve off of that career debut. Was bumped at the start, finished 3rd that day, beaten 5 3/4, but I think another one that I'd like to stretch out in here, and I saw it 5-8-6.
Moving on to race number 5, 7 furlongs, claiming race for $25,000.
There's a tough entry in here in the 1 and 1A. I did side ultimately with the 1A, which is Saratoga Heater. I have it 1A, 6, and 4. Saratoga Heater going out for Robertino Diodoro, who is unbelievable off the claim, and this is exactly what he's doing. So this horse is going to be first off the claim for Robertino Diodoro. Last time we saw this horse was on November 30th. Ran an even 5th that day, but if you go back to some of those races beforehand, notably the 3-back race, which was closed unbelievable to finish 2nd, beaten 3 lengths. You go back to some of the races at Belmont, I think this horse can wake up and first off the claim for a really good trainer in that spot. I gave the edge to. Underneath, number 6, bar none, 10-1 on the morning line going out for Gary Contessa, who's 2 for 6 at Aqueduct, 33%. The horse is 4 for 5 in the money at Aqueduct, 7 for 14 lifetime in the money. I think this horse has a shot in here. Last time, ran at this level, finished an even 5th, but didn't get the best of trips. If you go back to the 2-back race, was beaten just a length, finishing 2nd that day. I think this horse definitely has a shot in here. There looks to be some speed to set it up for the closing kick of the number 6, and I had that horse 2nd. And then for 3rd, number 4, Major League, going out for Gary Gullo, who was 21% in 2017, so that's a positive stat. Paco Lopez aboard. This horse is pretty versatile. Last couple have been coming from off the pace. All 3 of them have been 4th-place finishes. But if you go back to earlier on in 2017, did show some speed. So there looks to be a little bit of speed in here. So I think the horse will probably use that same tactic it's been using most recently. And another one that should like to stretch out from 6 to 7 today. So I had it 1A, 6-4.
All right, that's going to bring us to another break. When we come back, we will go over the second half of the Aqueduct card. Stay tuned.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at CapitalOTB.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Sully Crotty and Mike Callahan here. We are moving on to the second half of the Aqueduct card. Race number 6 at Aqueduct. 1 mile main special weight for $55,000.
4-8-1 for me did land with number 4, Curlin's Legacy. 10-1 on the morning line going out for Jeremiah Englehart. Manny Franco aboard. Blinkers go on. The career debut was okay. Finished 6th, beaten 14. Didn't have the best of trips, but took a lot of money that day. That was to Empire Line, who ultimately won that race. Empire Line came back to win a stakes on Monday. So, again, that's going to come up as a key race with also Gio Diodoro, who's in here, the number 8, was also in that race. So both these horses come back. Both should be flattered, and those are my top 2 choices. But with the 4, has some good pedigree. Is out of Curlin. The Dam Spa City Princess was 5 for 20. Good trainer stats. I think this horse is going to be a horse that kind of gets lost in the shuffle, and I think will appreciate the stretch out from 6 to a mile, and I think can improve second start out. Underneath, the morning line favorite, number 8, Gio Diodoro. Like we said, did face Empire Line 2 back. Empire Line came back to win that stakes on Monday. So this horse, should only be flattered by that performance by Empire Line. Last time out, just lost at the mile distance. Beaten ahead, I think, is absolutely the horse to beat in here. Brad Cox, 50% so far, 1 for 2 at Aqueduct, 26% in 2017. Definitely a huge shot with the number 8 in here. And then also underneath, number 1, Power Stroke. One that's going to show some speed. the 6 is going to come from off the pace. The 8 will be coming from off the pace. The 4 will be coming from off the pace. But the 1 could potentially get away here. And last time out, did finish behind Gio Diodoro, but the pace was pretty quick. Went 23-4 in that opening quarter. Faded that day to finish third, beating 6 3/4. But I think if for some reason no one wants to go with the 1, absolutely is a contender in here at the 4-1 morning line price. So I saw it 4-8-1.
Moving on to race number 7, 6 furlongs, an allowance optional claiming race for $57,000.
8-9-3 for me. Did go with number 8, Looking Ready, going out for Bruce Levine, Kendrick Carmouche aboard. Last 2 were on the turf, switching back to the dirt today. Does have some good performances on dirt, notably that maiden breaker at Saratoga, got a 68 buyer, again on the surface switch. And the workout on January 11th, which was a bullet workout, first of 31. I definitely think this horse is in the mix, and always want to give a shout out to Roddy Valeni, who's the owner of this horse. So I landed with number 8 on top. Underneath, number 9, Flash Drive, going out for Chris Englehart, Paco Lopez. And again, another one that's coming out of that Empire line, main breaker. Finished second behind Empire line that day, so another one that should be flattered. Gets in a good spot. Going to see some pace from the 8 and the 9 in here. If they decide to hook up, it may set up for the number 3, who's my third choice in here. But again, Paco and speed. This horse has been very good. 74 and 79 buyers last time out. I think this horse is definitely in the mix. And then underneath, number 3, Lover's Leap. The last 2 have been at Finger Lakes. They were even 4th place finishes. But if you go back to that August 9th race at Finger Lakes, I think was a really nice race. I think we'll get a lot of pace in there. It seems to be some pace from the 8 and the 9, and then also the 1 and the 2. So there could be a massive speed duel here. And if for some reason everybody decides to fade, the 3 could definitely be the horses to pick up the pieces in here. So I saw it 8-9-3.
Race number 8, it's a mile and an eighth. It's an allowance optional claiming race for $57,000.
1-8-6 in here. Did try to go with a little bit of a long shot in number 1, Chili Bon Bon, going out for Michelle Nevin, who's 25% so far at the Aqueduct meet, 19% in 2017. Last time we saw this horse was on December 9th, went a mile that day. Just faded to finish 4th, beat in 3 3/4 that day. Stretches out. And again, I think another one that could potentially be lone speed in here. There may be some speed from Iron Power, who's shown it on occasion, but if for some reason this horse can get away, and if you look back at some of these PPs, won a 1 allowance race back in 2016, got an 87 buyer, took him wire to wire. I think this horse is very dangerous on the lead and potentially could get an easy one. Underneath, number 8, Iron Power. A gutsy horse that seems to run good races over and over again. Most notably, those races have been on turf, switches to the dirt, but does have a couple wins on the dirt, 2 for 8 lifetime, and likes the distance, so you already know that. And again, just looking at the buyers and the quality of field that Iron Power has run, is a gutsy horse, and I think always in the mix. And then number 6, T. Sawich, going out for Dominic Schettino, Hector Diaz aboard, coming as the lightweight first-time gelding, 5 for 5 in the money at Aqueduct. Last time was an even third that day. I think can progress off of that. Got an 86 buyer. Should appreciate the stretch out to the mile and an eighth. And another one to use in the mix. I saw it 186.
Race number 9 on the Aqueduct card is a mile maiden and claiming race with a purse of $46,000.
In the finale, I saw it 7-1-8. Did go with number 7, 3 goals, going out for Michael Dilger. Kendrick Carmouche aboard 9-2 on the morning line. A good stat for Michael Dilger with blinkers off. With his horses and maiden claimers with blinkers off, he's 8 for 32, 25%. So that's a really good stat. 2 siblings, 1 for this horse. And I think should like to stretch out from the 6 to a mile, and definitely off that positive stat, one to use on top. Underneath, number 1, This Cat Can Fly. Last time we saw this horse was going a mile on the turf, switches back to the dirt. The 2 races on dirt were okay. Closed 2 back from 9th to finish 5th. I think another one that will like to they'd like to stretch out on turf should probably like it on dirt again, and just based off of that January 15th work, first of 16, I think this horse can definitely progress 4th time out. And then number 8, the morning line favorite, number 8, Big Thicket, going out for Linda Rice. Dropped last time out of the main special weights, ran an even 4th that day at 5-1. I think another one that will appreciate the stretch out as well. And just based off the drop last time out and running a pretty solid performance, 54 buyer, which is among the tops in here, is definitely one to have in the mix as well. So I saw it 7-1-8 in the finale.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this Thursday edition on the Handicappers Report, January 18th. Sully Crotty and Mike Callahan. And we want to thank our friends at Gulfstream Park for sponsoring this episode and a lot of our content here at Capital OTB. Gulfstream Park, champions start here. Good luck today at Aqueduct. Good luck today at Gulfstream Park. Take care, and we will be back tomorrow.